So, data analyst versus data scientist. You see these titles everywhere, right? They're two of the hottest jobs in tech, but let's be honest, the titles are so similar it's easy to get them mixed up. Here's the secret though. While the names are close, the actual work, the skills you need, and where these jobs lead, well, they couldn't be more different. So let's break it all down.
And hey, if you've ever felt confused about these titles, trust me, you are not alone. There's a real identity crisis happening in the data world. I mean, check this out. This is a comment from someone with over 20 years in the field who's still not sure what to call themselves. The lines are so blurred, even the pros are scratching their heads.
So why does getting this right actually matter? Well, for one thing, the stakes are pretty huge. We're talking about senior roles where salaries can easily top $180,000 a year in the US. Understanding the difference isn't just about job titles. It's about charting the right course for your entire career.
Okay, but here's the really good news. Despite all this confusion, the core difference is actually way simpler than you might think. And I promise, once you get this, it's going to click and you'll never see these roles the same way again. It all comes down to one simple, powerful idea.
Okay, first up, let's talk about this identity crisis in the data world. Before we get to that simple answer, we need to understand why it's so confusing in the first place. And spoiler alert, it's not you, it's the industry. Job titles are all over the map, responsibilities overlap, and the whole field is just changing so fast.
You see, in a lot of companies, especially if they're not huge tech giants, the titles are used almost interchangeably. Both roles might do things like data cleaning or initial analysis. And some places just slap data scientist on a job post because it sounds fancy and attracts talent, even when the job is really an analyst role. Yeah, it's kind of the Wild West out there.
All right, you ready? This is it. This is the aha moment I was talking about. The simplest way to cut through all that noise and really, truly get the fundamental difference between a data analyst and a data scientist. It all comes down to their relationship with one thing: time.
That's it. It's all about time. Data analysts are focused on the past. They use historical data to explain what happened and why. Data scientists, on the other hand, focus on the future. They build systems to predict what will happen. So think of it like this. The analyst is kind of a historian, while the scientist, well, they're more like an architect of the future.
So the data analyst, they live and breathe something called descriptive analytics. Their entire job is to dig into the data that already exists to answer questions like, hey, why did our sales suddenly drop 15% last quarter? They're the storytellers, the detectives piecing together what's already happened.
Now, on the flip side, the data scientist is all about predictive analytics. They use machine learning and complex algorithms to build models that forecast what's coming. They're not just explaining the past, they're building systems to answer questions like, okay, which of our customers are most likely to cancel their subscription next month?
Okay, so we've got that core idea, right? Past versus future. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of how that actually looks day to day. We're talking the specific skills, the tools they use, and what the learning path looks like for each career.
And that difference in focus, it means they use completely different toolkits. Your analyst has to be a wizard with SQL to pull data from the past, and a master of tools like Tableau or Power BI to tell a story with it. The scientist, on the other hand, is deep into advanced Python with libraries like scikit-learn to build those predictive models. And the math gets way heavier. You need linear algebra and calculus to really understand what's under the hood.
So let's say you want to become a data analyst. Your roadmap is all about being practical and getting your insights heard. You start with the basics, sure, but the goal is to get really good really fast at handling data with SQL and Python, and then turning that data into compelling stories with business intelligence tools. Your whole goal, your end product, is usually a killer dashboard or report that makes a real business decision happen.
Now, the data scientist roadmap? Whoa, it's a whole different beast. It's longer, and it demands a much deeper dive into the technical and theoretical stuff. You're going way beyond just analyzing data. You are creating things. You're building, training, and deploying machine learning models that can run on their own. This is a path that requires a solid grip on advanced stuff like deep learning and the engineering chops to actually get your models out into the real world.
Okay, so let's talk about the payoff, the good stuff. What about the paychecks and where these jobs can actually take you? Let's look at the real-world outcomes, salary and career paths. So that salary gap really reflects the difference in technical depth. Now, both roles are paid well, don't get me wrong, but data scientists definitely command a premium for their super specialized skills. An analyst might start around 55K and can totally climb past 100K. But a data scientist, they often start where the analyst tops out, and yeah, they can soar to 180K or honestly even more at the top-tier companies.
For a data analyst, that career ladder usually points straight towards business leadership. You'll go from an analyst to a manager, and from there, you could become a director of business strategy, or even a chief analytics officer. You become the person who owns the strategy, the one who answers, okay, what do we do now, by translating data directly into business action.
The data scientist path, though, that's all about technical leadership. You might specialize and become a machine learning engineer or grow into a principal data scientist who solves the company's toughest technical challenges. And the peak of that mountain is often the chief data officer, where you're the one shaping the vision for how do we build the intelligent platform of the future. All right, we've gone through the core difference, the skills, the money, the career paths. Now for the most important part, which one of these is for you? Let's build a little framework to help you decide.
Okay, let's break it down. You should go the data analyst route if you are all about communication. If you get a genuine thrill from digging through messy data to find that one key insight and then telling a story with it that makes people sit up and take action, this is your lane. You're the translator, the bridge between raw data and smart, actionable decisions. But if you're the person who loves the deep, technical puzzle, if you're passionate about coding, math, and the pure intellectual challenge of designing an algorithm that can predict the future, then this is for you. It's less about presenting the findings and more about building the automated engines that run on their own.
But here's a little secret, something most career guides won't tell you. You don't have to pick one and stick with it forever. Actually, one of the best ways to become a great data scientist is to start out as a data analyst. You spend a couple of years getting really good at SQL, understanding the business, learning how to communicate. And then, with all that business knowledge, you upskill into machine learning. You'll bring a context that a lot of pure tech folks just don't have.
At the end of the day, both of these roles are absolutely critical. The analyst helps figure out what to do, and the scientist builds the technology to do it at scale. So the real question isn't which one's better, it's which one is better for you. Are you the storyteller of the past or the architect of the future?